All right. Get Better Everyday podcast with Matt Gouge. I've got Matt Weaver, very special guest on today. If you find any value in this podcast, which I'm sure you will, subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend. We're all on this same journey together, trying to get better every day. Welcome, Matt Weaver.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, give us a quick, maybe 1 or 2 minutes of who you are, what you've been up to, and that'll probably lead into why I'm so excited about having you on here and talking about getting better every day.
Well, I am at this point in my journey, I officially deem myself an entrepreneur because I don't deem myself a one thing guy. So spent my life building things, bringing people together and helping people get better at what they do in a variety of different ways. The thing I'm probably, most known for here in Sacramento is being a gym owner who built an independent brand from a small 2,000-foot location to all the way up to 10 locations prior to fitness becoming illegal in California.
Yeah, I know you mostly, as you said, from Results Gym, and my wife was a part of it. I went on some of the guest days and saw a part of the magic and what that means. Fitness in my life has always been important, and I think being a dad now, 13 and 9-year-old boys. I was thinking about the other day, and I told somebody, when my oldest was 6 months old, he was coming to 24-hour fitness. And then when it was CalFit, when it was Rio de Oro Racket Club, Ultimate Fitness, no matter where it was, like the kids have been around that for their whole lives. And, quick personal story, my parents were dragging me to casinos and bars. Right. So I like to think that I am provided kind of a good influence on them in that fitness is a positive outlet. Right. And so, yeah, maybe tell us about that. Cause I know you're entrepreneurial, you got multiple things going, but I love how, you just create the atmosphere and the platform for people that are looking to get better every day. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'm the opposite of your backdrop. My mother has a mental disability. So she's completely disabled. My dad wasn't in the picture. So we didn't leave our little ring of the projects, if you would, where I lived in Pittsburgh and grew up, and moved to Sacramento in the 8th grade, I think it was. And anyhow, I never saw the inside of a gym until I was in high school. And then after high school, I didn't see an inside of a gym until after I weighed almost 400 pounds. So those habits were definitely not ingrained or embedded. Right. And what you're doing with your kids is great because it just normalizes, hey, this is part of the routine, right? You brush your teeth, you take a shower, you do all these things, and you go to the gym. And for a child in development age, they're seeing that habit loop, wiring that habit loop, and you remember it, right? Even though you don't remember the intimate details that taking your kids, you remember that. They remember that, and very likely they're not going to have issues showing up to the gym and being active because you're doing that at such a young age. I was kind of the polar opposite of that. Wasn't active, was a heavy kid to begin with, got hit by a truck when I was 13, so was all banged up already through my teenage years. And long story short is I got dragged into wrestling in high school, and that was the first time I ever saw the inside of a gym. So you can imagine making the shift from a little fat kid to having to wrestle like athletes from across Northern California. But necessity drives behavior, and so I didn't want to keep getting beat up. So between my sophomore and junior year, I lifted a lot of weights, and I made a pretty big transformation and enjoyed being in the sport more, enjoyed being in high school more, and kept that going for quite a while. And then later got hurt again, totally new injury. And that thing took me off my feet and started popping the pills that they give you for back pain. It's good stuff, right? But makes you lazier than lazy. And put on a lot of weight through depression, through the injury. And one day I woke up and found myself like being told by the doctor now or there's no future. So my hemoglobin A1C was like over 12. My blood sugars was over 400. I was 27. My wife was expecting. My second daughter was with my son was, a young man, like 8 years old, and my youngest daughter was still in a car seat, or a stroller, I should say. And I was like 27, and I have no future. This is not good. So I actually went looking for a gym, and my business partner knew that we weren't business partners at the time. We were just coworkers. He knew I was looking for a fitness program. He said, come to the gym with me. And after having gone to all these different gyms, I was like, well, at least I have someone to go with. So I went with him. Horrible experience, top to bottom. Every gym I went to, I was out of shape. I was looked at crazy. I didn't get any help or support, but at least I had a buddy now who was like, we'll go together. So I hired and fired a bunch of personal trainers, finally got a good one, stuck with him for a few years, dropped 175 pounds, and decided to do this as a way to help other people. So we launched the first location back in 2006 with my then personal trainer and my business partner. We were working our day jobs at AT&T, but this passion to invigorate people with what it meant, what it meant to go from obviously we're audio, so I can't show you a picture at this moment, but if I could show you from this to this, and then what it feels like inside, I just felt like that needed to be shared, but not so much where I wanted to give up my day job. So we just supported our business partner. I did the marketing and a lot of the business planning and that sort of thing. Well, I also found out real shortly into that endeavor that not everybody wants to work with people who are overweight. So my personal trainer said, I really don't like working with overweight people every day. I want to train athletes. I got into this business to train football players, not fat people. And I said, well, you probably should have realized by going into business with a guy who you helped lose 175 pounds, that was the mission. We were going to change some lives. We weren't looking to just work with kids who knew fitness all their lives and were already athletic. Like, we're here to help people who need the help. If you want to be a high school teacher, go be a high school teacher, right? That's not what we do here. And so that's the beginning of what's a 17-year journey now. And it's been fantastic. Not always, right? Because I did say we started that in 06. So I had to learn the fitness industry, withstand the biggest economic collapse, in history. And my franchise that we were part of went bankrupt through all of that. So I also had to create a new brand, a new concept, and reemerge through, after 2009 with a whole new business plan.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. I love the story. And, as you're telling it, I'm thinking to myself, being someone that's been in the gym most of my life, not like super, fanatically in shape, but I played sports and, I think I fluctuated between 180 and 230, at any given time. It makes all the sense in the world. Like you said, a guy who goes from 400 to 220, like, you're trying to find other folks that are 400 because what it's like, for your health, for your mindset, folks that are depressed and overweight. And, I relate it as somebody who struggled with substance as the same type of thing, right? Like, where good people make bad decisions. You do something for long enough and it just becomes ingrained in you, and it's hard to change. The same goes for somebody who intakes 3,500 calories or 4,000 calories for 2 years. They're 370 pounds, and it's really hard to unwind that. And so I guess I commend you. And I think about, like, the thing that excites me more than anything when I talk to somebody, an entrepreneur, business person, is like actually changing lives. Like, thinking about, I can create a caricature in my head, somebody who was 370 pounds. They came to results, and they entered a program, and they've got the support. They've got, nice music. I've met some of the coaches that you have over there, right? And these guys are really, motivating and supportive, and their health gets better, and not just physically, but their mental health improves from that. And so I'd love if you have any stories. I'm sure there's some people that have, granted you permission to share pictures and share stories on some of these people that you've helped over the last 17 years.
Yeah, you bet. And there was a time where I believed that it was only people who needed like a really big weight loss transformation, where I thought only they could experience this feeling of transformation. And I quickly learned a couple of things. Number one is sometimes when you go chase the people who are too far gone, they don't want to hear about you, especially if you're living on this side and they're living on that side. They're just shut down from the positive voices and the encouragement, and their subconscious brain is blocking a lot of the positive things that could, they could be influenced by, and they're in a cocoon, a negative cocoon. But I did find that transformational feeling was not restricted to people who needed to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds. In fact, take a mother who had two children in a row and can't fit into her wardrobe anymore. It's been now 3-4 years, maybe 5, right, since the first baby, since she identified with her body in the mirror and felt like she could put on that pair of jeans or put on that dress or feel sexy again. 20 pounds will lock somebody up into a state of mind that is not real healthy for them. And you mentioned mental health earlier. I mean, in the beginning of this, I didn't have any connection to mental health here. Now I can tell you it's all mental health. It's 100% mental health. It is not, the physical piece here is just a road you go down, right? A route you go to get to the positive mental health. So, I will definitely share some stories, but I'll let you know that my evolution into the first like 6 or 7 years, I did fitness the way I was taught to do fitness, right? What my personal trainer taught me, what the franchise told me. And to be honest with you, we were better and friendlier than everybody else, but it still sucked. It's hard work. It's just hard work, eat less, move more, do what I tell you. That sounds real fun, right? Said no one ever. And I was like, this is cool, but this isn't the thing that is going to get people excited to come here day after day after day. So we went through our own transformation when we were able to ditch our parent franchise that had went under. And when we opened our second location back in like 2011, I decided to throw the baby out with the bathwater. The people who were part of our first gym, they didn't want me to change it. They liked it. But I was looking at it from, no, this is still not different enough. This is just a smaller, friendlier version of what's out there. That's not what we're after. We want different. And so the brand that you may have heard today, the Results Transformation Center brand, that was dreamed up from me just taking the handcuffs off of following someone else's boilerplate or template and saying, this is how we're going to do it. And so I had a history in the nightclub and promotions business in my early 20s. And so did my business partner. That's actually how we met. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if we had a DJ stand over here and we put lights up like we had in the clubs? And the only thing we're going to do, man, is we're having a party every hour. Like this is a 1 hour workout freaking party. And so the whole format was changed, dumped on its head. We got rid of the do it yourself, got rid of the one-on-one personal training, got rid of anything that wasn't in community, in a group, and exciting. And so we at the time invented format that wasn't well known, right? It was personal training in a team setting. We called it team training. And there wasn't any of the brands that you see that have emerged over the last 10 plus years in the marketplace that obviously did similar things to what we're doing. But the idea.
Come on, baby. Frozen. Shit. I'll keep this recording and maybe he'll come back. Huh.
Well, that was terrible.
Well, I kept the recording going, so it's still recording. Like you said, man, we got editors. We just got to figure out where the fuck we left off.
Yeah. So I'll rewind that thought, right? And so, we were just a smaller version of the other gyms and friendlier, and we were really committing to people feeling comfortable, but I knew it wasn't enough, and the environment needed to be party like. The lights, the DJ, the high fives, the clapping, the celebration, the energy, like that needed to be happening to make you forget that you're coming to work out. Like, this is just happy hour without the booze. It's happy hour without the booze. And I know for sure there was absolutely nothing like there out that, because I'd already turned over all those stones when I was looking for something. If someone could have tricked me into staying into the habit of exercise by making it fun, taking the workout for, taking the mental work of what am I going to do today? What equipment am I going to use? Do I do upper body? Do I do lower body? Do I lift weights? Do I do cardio? What do I do? Don't worry about it. Show up. Give me an hour. I'm going to be the best part of your day. You're going to leave here forgetting whatever it was that was on your mind when you walked out the door. And the only thing you're going to realize or think about was that was cool. That was probably the best thing that happened to me today.
Right.
And tomorrow's trip into the parking lot might be just as hard. The kids threw up in the back of the car. The boss was a jerk. You got a flat tire. I mean, you just stack them, right? The average person is up against it when it comes to making it in, going somewhere to go exercise. So I knew it had to be really, really special to make you do it a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And that's where our special formula was really born. And we realized that nobody had ever experienced it before. And so we had a couple of really big viral moments, right? Because the word got out, there was absolutely nothing to compare it to. And then we realized we got really, really good at throwing the workout party and having people come and do the workouts. And, I looked around and I always thought, and my old trainer told me, he says, no one actually gets the type of results you get here. Like, we take a picture of a guy like you and use it for 10 years. Like, the average person starts and quits and just, we never see him again. I'm like, that's so depressing. And we had a lot of people who were still coming, and some people who made good, solid transformations, a few really amazing ones. And, we'd put their picture up on the wall to inspire others and brag about them and put them on our marketing. So instead of having, these abs of chiseled abs and these fitness models that don't look like any human being, we had somebody who was just 30 pounds overweight and lost 30 pounds. and made that the focal point of who we wanted to attract and help. And so even in our marketing, you'll notice like there's all real people. We don't use stock images and fake fitness models. So we got, pretty popular for that, but I was looking into our membership and seeing the people and thinking, gosh, I know she came here to lose weight and we haven't helped her lose weight yet. Well, here's the deal. You don't need to lose weight to benefit from fitness. You can drop your cholesterol, your hemoglobin A1C. You can reduce the chances of adult onset illnesses and be strong as an ox and overweight. I firmly believe, the whole body positivity movement might be shifting into, different spaces, but I'm like, listen, that's not even the issue. The issue isn't how much weight you're carrying. The issue is, can you do the things that you need to do in life, and are you healthy? And healthy can be measured internally and externally. Like the scale is just a diagnostic, one of many, right? If you go in and you're overweight and your freaking heart rate's great and your resting heart rate's great and your blood sugar's great, it's great. But I know these people, they came in here and they told me their dream was to be a size whatever to get into this dress. And so we had figured out the fun and making you forget that it was exercise, but we hadn't figured out compliance. How do I get you to stick to the freaking plan? Like it was kind of getting to me where I'm like, I've been at this for a lot of years, and honestly, I'm not changing enough lives. Having fun. This is cool. We're on our second gym. But if this is all it is, then it's just throwing the party without the booze. It's still not transformational. So a mentor, friend, and business partner of mine came up with this. He had been running challenges forever, and we'd always run contests and challenges as well. And he says, what if we, instead of, those money back guarantees, if you don't make your goal, you get your money back, or whatever the guarantee is what if we reverse the risk? And we say, if you make your goal, you get your money back. And I said, man, you're crazy, dude. Like, how are we going to survive if we give everybody their money back? And he says, we got to just try it, man. It's not like we're going to give it to everybody, And so we launched this trial program where we let our members, at a big town hall with the members, and said, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Some of you gave me your biggest tearful dream was to lose 20 pounds, and you're still not there. And at some point, either my program sucks as a reflection of that, or you suck at following instructions. So we got a 6-week challenge to figure out if my instructions suck or you suck at following instructions. Who's in? And they're like, well, that's kind of offensive. And I was kind of on this kind of like real aggressive kick, telling people the truth, right? I'm like, I'm sick and tired of you guys complaining about your weight on weigh-in day. We used to make them weigh in a couple times a month, and then it would be the stories and the this and that. I'm like, guys, you don't need to like come in here and give me confession about what you ate and drank. Your body's going to show it. If it
scale doesn't lie
on your hips, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Thing is, I love you no matter what. That's not an issue. Just don't tell me the stories. I don't want to hear them. If you want the results, I ask one thing. You can't freaking outrun a fork. Stick to the freaking plan. I will give you your money back for this program for 6 weeks if you stick to the plan. Boom. We crack the compliance code. Same people who pile money on your plate month after month to let them come and do what they want and have fun would have zero compliance with food, right? Not zero, but trust me.
Yeah.
It was not pretty. Then we reversed this and said, we'll give you your money back. All you got to do is stick to this program. And it's not that complex, right? It's, leafy green vegetables, complex carbs, lean protein sources, lots of water on a schedule for 6 weeks. But you put a human being with a financial motivation to get their money back for however we're wired. And this doesn't, by the way, once you earn your money back for losing weight, like that motivation goes away because you can do it now. So you're going to have to find some other motivation. But this thing went so viral that we could not contain it in the locations that we had. We were having 80 people show up for a workout, and it was just too risky. And so we had to add locations like really fast. So we went to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all on this concept of come in, stick to the program, show up for an hour, go home, eat the food we tell you to eat. And 6 weeks later, you'll lose 20 pounds or more, and we'll give you your money back. We still didn't know how we were going to make money, but we did it the first time, and it became real apparent. The way we're going to make money is sharing these stories, putting the social proof out there, and only letting people do it once, right? So if you did it once,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
money back, you got to pay after that.
Yeah, because I think to your point too, like it's weight on the scale. It's how you feel, you know, and you see the mental health improve. People don't want to leave, right? They do that for 6 weeks. Like, this is a place that makes me feel good about myself. Like, I've accomplished something. Like, I'm moving in the right direction, you know, and you know, pants fit better, and then you might see something on the scale, but also, you know, I feel better. I'm stronger. I can move better. What year did you guys launch that?
I think our first proof of concept was around late 2011.
Okay.
Might have been 2012. Don't quote me exact time, but right in that window. And we still really weren't like promoting it, but they were promoting it for us after we did our proof of concept.
Yeah.
Then right around late 2012, I found out something like Facebook marketing, right, which we had never done before, and just, you know, went in the computer and brought in the market of who we were showing the stories to. Well, we couldn't actually show before and after pictures on Facebook. Still can't. So we just went out there and told our story, and then we had all these ambassadors with their pictures, posting their success stories, bringing people in, and it really was. There's no marketing we can do to be more powerful than sending the wife home to the husband who's never felt more beautiful, who's never felt stronger, who's never felt more confident, or vice versa, the husband, right, who might have just been getting a little lazy and dad bod, you know, beyond.
I was asking too, because I wanted to tie a couple things together. Like, you hit it spot on, where you know, there's going to be multiple different like demographics that fit, and different people that fit into this. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that like mental health and physical health is something for everybody, right? Yep. There's from 6 to 96, and from 110 pounds to 700 pounds, like everybody could benefit from this. But, you know, our second kid was born in 2013. And when you talked about a mother after 2 kids, you know, bless mothers out there, right? Our first son in 2009, my wife spent 2 months in the hospital on bed rest, you know, and that wreaks havoc on your body, just laying there for 2 months. And then, you know, was brave enough to have our second son in 2013 and go through that. And, you know, when your main focus is taking care of children, and the women are actually bearing the children as well, right? To get back and get active. You know, my wife played softball in high school. She was an athlete. And then, you know, taking care of the kiddos, having both kiddos, you know, if you start to fall off, she found results, you know, during that time when you guys were doing that promotion. I thought to myself, man, that's pretty cool, right? And I remember the buzz, and so I had to get in there and had to see it for myself. And to your point, like, for somebody who hasn't experienced it, it is different. And like you said, other people have come and they've put together group classes, and I've seen a bunch of this stuff because I've been in a bunch of different gyms called different things, but there is something truly special about, you know, the community, the group setting, the atmosphere. Because I had done a bunch of different workouts in my whole life, and whatever year it was, it might have been 2017 or 18. She said, "Hey, well, they're doing this thing where if we bring somebody." They got double points or something. I can't remember what it was, right? And so I think I went out to the Natomas location. I was like, that was fun, man. Sally up, Sally down, whatever the heck we were doing. Like, I got a good workout. It was fun. The lights were flashing. And so I applaud you. And I just want to share that story too, because it's to your point. You know, somebody might be at 400 and going down to 230 is life-changing. It looks really transformational. There's other people that are 160, you know, and to get to 140 changes the way they see themselves, feel about themselves, their mental health. You know, personally, you know, I've got fluctuations going from 227 to 206 in the last 8 weeks, 10 weeks. I feel great. You know, I'm more present with my kids. I'm a better husband. Yeah, I'm better at work.
That's a 20-pound swing, right? and it's life altering, right? And that's why we picked that number as well. There was something about a modest amount of change that you could see and still not quite be satisfied. And then there's the extreme where it's like, hey, most people don't have that to lose, or won't realistically lose that. Most of America's got 20 pounds to lose, right? And if they don't make all 20 and they only lose 14, darn, right? We tricked them in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
To
Set,
losing.
set, set a, set a big goal. And if you miss, you
Yeah.
still,
And
end
so
up.
for me, that's when I realized what we were doing was much bigger, and it could affect just tens of thousands of people. I really found, again, just your wife's the quintessential kind of like, listen, there's literally more people like her out there than are not, and there's one every single day is being created. And another thing about motherhood, and you mentioned my wife had a similar delivery with my daughter. She was born premature. My wife spent a couple months in the hospital. My daughter spent a month in the NICU. Women go through this physical thing, but let's get into postpartum, right? What's
Yeah.
that do up here? And so every single day in our community, there's somebody going through a reverse transformation, almost not by choice, but by duty of, biological assignment, that's your assignment to give birth. They all need a transformation back to who they were.
Uh-huh.
Some people have never been that person, but the person who remembers who they were, they're more fun to have change with, because they have a picture, they even have a dress, they know where they're trying to get. Someone like me is like, well, I was never fit or healthy. Not until wrestling did I even have a picture of what that might feel like. But for a lot of people who got hurt, had a baby, maybe just got into an office job after being active their whole life, a 20-30 pound difference is holding them back from just the dreams and the self-confidence and the even wanting to be on camera, right? For a podcast, 20 pounds can make you, make it feel a lot harder to turn the
I
camera on.
think this episode, I'll be a little thinner than I was,
8 weeks ago.
12 episodes ago.
Yeah, I mean, and it's honestly, I've struggled. Unfortunately, I've done some more brain work, and I found some triggers, grief and traumas and things that can reemerge in people as well. And so I've, gained 100 pounds and lost 100 pounds, a total of 3 times in my life now. Now I'm much more equipped with knowing exactly what that is. And, I just went through like a 75-day program myself, and I refuse to actually weigh myself the whole time, because I also know what a psychological game the scale can play.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a list of discipline items and those are non-negotiable, the scale should play no part in whether you do those or not do those. And, it turned out that through that, I figured out that I lost 40 pounds by comparing to my prior year weigh-in. Yeah. But I sometimes we all need to go back through a re-indoctrination of the protocols that reboot our systems, right? Where our endocrine systems and our hormonal systems and everything can get recalibrated and fine. And you can't live in the extremes forever on any extreme. But those 20 pound, 40 pound reboots, literally, I mean, you can say from firsthand experience, thousands of others can. And, it's really, I wish we could bottle that up, right? And just give it to people. But that's not how it works. And I really think the crusade has shifted a lot more now to, we're in this for the mental health. The outward package that these guys are wearing, that's going to be up to them. What package do you want to package your best self in? Just like your clothing, right? If you got this style, that could be your style. If this is your body type, that could be your body type. But being active and treating your body with care and putting the right things in it, that's a whole different thing. And when you start doing that, you're going to unlock the best of yourself up here. And it just, you mentioned like stories. And so your wife's story, my story, there's so much, thousands of them, but some of the ones that really stand out, we had a guy, and you mentioned being clean and sober. He had struggled with that himself. And he came in, and somebody in his family sponsored him to be in the program because he didn't have the money. And by the way, this thing started at like 200, then it went to 300, and we found we couldn't handle all the people. So we made it go all the way up to $500 for 6 weeks of a fitness program, which A lot of people, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, well, yeah, that's why you're going to work so hard to get it back.
Yeah.
I don't get to keep this money if you stick to the plan. I got to give it back to you. So you can complain to me about expensive all day long. No big deal. Because we're trying to keep people out who are going to quit when they get an invite to the buffet or the Garth Brooks concert or whatever's going on. Anyways, this guy got someone else's money. And I always thought, well, if it's not your money, you may not work as hard for it. But boy, did he prove me wrong. He was so humbled that his family paid for him to get in this program. We had a rule that if you were, extremely overweight, that was going to be a huge advantage to you, right? Like if you have 100 pounds to lose, your wife had 30 to lose, maybe, right?
Yeah, right.
He's got to lose 20, and this guy got 200 to lose, and he's got to lose 20. That's not real fair, right? So we said if you have more than 50 pounds to lose, you got to do it more than once and keep going until you're at a healthy weight. So this guy came in and absolutely destroyed his first 6-week challenge with like 40 pounds down in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Then he did it again and again and again and again and again and again. 6 consecutive rounds.
Wow.
For, gosh, nearly 200 pounds of weight loss, and sobriety and a new outlook on life. And he came back with a tattoo on his arm and said results. And I was like, okay, this changed this guy's life. And I was like, hey, man, I don't even have a tattoo that says results. You're freaking like, this was all you, man. Like, don't give me the credit. You did this. But I kept my eye on that guy, and I told my team at the time, I said, I've never seen anybody outwork a guy like that. He didn't have a job. And I said, find a freaking job for him. This guy belongs on our team.
Yeah.
Put him in.
Yeah.
And he's been with us for like 7 years now, runs our facilities and maintenance. And, it's stories like that you just absolutely never forget. Husband and wife combo who lost 100 pounds in 6 weeks. The husband lost 60, the wife lost 40. The record, right, for a couple, the record for a man. Some of the ones that really stand out to me, and I'll use one. I think she's totally fine with me saying her name, was this woman named Cassie out of our Rancho Cordova location. And she's one of many, but she's like one of the more recent ones that kind of stand out, and was absolutely convinced, scientifically and medically speaking, that she would never bear children and have children again. And I don't want to pay child support for other people's kids, but as a result of our program, she got pregnant, right? With her significant other, not with anybody at our team. And she, was just in tears, beyond tears, just to get pregnant, but to have a healthy delivery and a healthy baby when she was told it was never going to happen. And we've had a dozen that I can think of who shared this exact same story. And I'm like, all right, mental health, physical health, generational health, bringing life into the world when you didn't think you could, bringing life into yourself when you didn't think you could, bringing life into the world when you didn't think you could. How powerful is this? And to be honest with you, I think about my mission, and I lost my North Star for a few years with COVID. I was just in a battle with the government. I mean, being here in California, marijuana dispensaries are more essential than fitness. And nothing against marijuana or liquor stores or any of the things we deemed essential. DoorDash.
Yeah. Fitness is essential. Mental health is essential. And
and I'm crushed underneath that, right? We had 9 locations going into COVID, and I'm just trying to figure out how to not get sued by the different landlords who want to get paid while the government's telling you not to open your doors, how to keep my staff working, how to keep all these things moving. And I'll be very honest with you. Not only did I get depressed and gain some weight, I was ready to just ditch this thing. because I'm like, I got to go get a regular job that's legal. I'm like I'm like on the other side of the fence. And I got so much pull and encouragement, even though we were suffering financially, because nobody wants to pay for a program they can't use. And a lot of people don't want to do it on Zoom or on a screen or out in a parking lot. So we had a lot of people who were really faithful and loyal, just like, nope, can't do it anymore. Plus, we had to close locations that made us out of reach to a lot of other people. But the people whose lives we had changed along the way, who were just so appreciative and so grateful, they showed up still. They reminded me how important this was. Being closed for 2 months reminded them how important it was that we reopen. And so it gave me enough fight to keep this thing going, right? And to really reinvent what we had post-COVID, to encompass, the new world, if you would, right? The hybrid work world. Some people want to get fit online. Some people want to come to the gym. And so if not for that part, because I am entrepreneurial and I'm very capable of performing, different things in different industries, there was a lot of push and pull. Let me go do what's right for me and my family. Let me go stay on this mission that God put me on, because he clearly put me on it. There's a lot of ways to make a living. Selling fitness has to be one of the hardest ones that you can ever imagine, right? Having some people pay you.
Right. Well, I think Matt, that, I probably speak on behalf of many. I'm glad you stayed the course and through the storm, which was, businesses being shut down and government regulation, all that stuff that is a whole nother topic. I know you've changed thousands of lives, and I've seen it firsthand, and you've got, stories to tell. I'm curious, and maybe to wrap this up, what does the future look like? Because it's been almost 2 decades, right, of changing lives and doing that through fitness and mental health and whatnot. So what do you see when you look out 5 or 10 years for this business and for this brand?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It's part of we all have a why, right? And finding your why is a huge part of how we help people discover what's going to keep them going the day that they stop caring about getting their money back. And my old why used to be to see my kids through high school, watch them get into college and graduate. And then they started doing that. And then I lost my why. And then the business thing was kind of like not going well during COVID. And so some of my why was a little spoiled in that. But, the people reminded me of their why and why it was so important for us to keep this thing going, which really invigorated me to say, we can't do everything the same way forever. We're going to have to do it a different way. And then recently, I don't know if I can share, I guess I can share this here, but I got a new why. I'm going to be a grandfather, which is like a new why. There's an answer,
Congrats.
right? Like, oh my goodness, I got to be healthy and strong to chase a grandkid around and hopefully show them a lifetime of good habits, right?
Awesome, man. Congrats, dude. That's
But
cool.
the future of the business is actually looking great and bright. We're opening more locations this coming year. But we've re-engineered the model, right? There's a lot of people who I need to come into this journey with me, rather than me try to put that whole weight on my back and do another 2 decades and not have more partners in this. We've decided to license the concept out, similar to franchising, a little more flexible. I didn't have a great experience with franchising, so I want to give the business owners more flexibility in how they run this. But people are calling me, when are you going to reopen in Elk Grove? When are you going to reopen in Roseville? When's the Natomas open? And I said, just give us time. The environment's not settled yet. And along the way, I found some folks who were very interested in converting their existing gyms or opening brand new gyms who want to follow the results way and bring this into more communities. So we're excited about that path. We're opening in Roseville in January, which was a market we left during COVID. We've got our eyes on your neighborhood out in Natomas and Elk Grove. Those were some of our strong markets, and up in Reno, another location. But it'll all be done differently with an owner operator behind each of these units, with my company providing the infrastructure, the support, the tools, the network, the masterminding, all the things that we can do. So really excited about that. Not, having not thrown in the towel. And then of course, reinvigorating my own fitness journey, because I've got the new Y anchor coming
Right.
next year. So I'll be chasing my own personal weight loss and transformation goals, with a new North Star, and then helping more business owners really succeed in fitness. A lot of business owners in fitness take a vow of poverty when they decide to go help people, and they don't make a lot of money. They just get by. A lot of them go work for somebody else, steal some clients, go start a place, have no clue how to run a business. More power to them. Their heart's in the right place, but they don't know how to run a successful business. And rather than have those people on the other side be your competitors, I really want to have those people as my partners and help them make a great living for their family while carrying this mission on way beyond the time I'll be able to wake up at 4:30 a.m. and get a gym. So
Right. Yeah.
that's
Leverage all that expertise and the model that certainly works, the model that impacts people and helps people. Before I forget, for the Get Better Everyday listeners, I heard something earlier and I think it bears repeating. You were open and honest about your own struggles, right? Where it's not just a straight line where it's like, hey, I go from 230 to 185 and I'm fit, I'm feeling great. And I'm like that for the rest of my life. Right. And I think that that's important because more often than not, in health, in business, in relationships, it's not a straight line, and people struggle and people have setbacks. And I think more people are going to resonate with that than anything else. So what would you say, to the Get Better Everyday listener about setbacks, about getting yourself back on track, and what have you found personally, to continue to get better every day when you might, go through a 3-month, 6-month, shit, man, I backtracked, I gotta get this back on track. What's your secret there?
Well, you said it. Success isn't linear. Weight loss is not linear. And we can be pretty tough on ourselves. That voice that reemerges in our head and gains power sometimes is probably the biggest force against us in our lives. And while success isn't linear, failure isn't permanent either unless you quit, right? And the part that always I always think about, right, is that as long as you're not out of the game and you're still playing the game, you got a shot. But, there is a point in time that if you quit, and I don't know what the period is. I really don't know what the period is. But if you quit for a certain amount of time, the game's over. You just can't get back in to the game. So keeping forward moving progress, however minute it might feel at the time. You could be gaining weight, you could have all the issues that you have, but if you're doing something to keep you in the light, to keep you on the right side of that journey, meaning you're fighting still, you are aware that you need to be doing some work on this every day. That's the key, in my opinion. I mean, there's so many reasons I should be completely wiped out of the game, if you would, the game of success. My only strategic edge is I don't quit. I don't quit, and I won't quit. I will definitely stop doing things that don't serve me well.
Yeah.
But I will not quit when it comes to, fighting for my mental health, my physical health, my future, my family's future, and knowing that it's a fight and acknowledging that it's a fight. Like, that's it's all sunshine and rainbows until we admit that it's not.
Right.
And the war is waged between our ears most often, and not even the external voices, which can be a battle that you have to fight. It's the internal voices that you got to continue to live with every day, whether you're alone or in large groups, and just don't give up. If you stay in the game, and have some grace on yourself when you are in that deeper into that struggle, and, get yourself around other people. Like you said, you went on a self-development journey. Listen to those podcasts, listen to those Audible books, read those books, go to the Tony Robbins seminar if you have to. Whatever you do, get yourself in the light, get yourself with people who acknowledge they can't do it alone either. Go to a results transformation center. You're going to find people like you. And that's what keeps so many people out of irreparable, permanent danger. We all slip. But if you put yourself in a group and community and keep yourself in the light, the chances of you going all the way dark and going off the grid, are almost eliminated. So that's my 2 cents for anybody who's struggling without a bright light in their life at the moment.
Yep.
Find your way to that light.
Yep. I love it, man. I love it. So I'm going to end. That's a perfect place to end. Thank you to the Get Better Everyday listeners. And to Matt's point, like, you just got to know which direction the light is in and take one step in that direction, at getting better every day, whether it's health, wealth, fitness, whatever it is. Small, minute steps, and folks would be surprised how much they can accomplish, a lot of them in 6 weeks. That's a radical transformation and whatnot. So thanks again for your time, Matt. Truly appreciate it, brother.
My pleasure, Matt. Thank you.